Okay, we're just waiting a few seconds here for everyone to join. Amazing. Welcome. Good evening, everyone. We're super excited to have you here tonight for the virtual Future Raven Family Night. Just want to start off by saying a huge thank you for being here. We know it's December. December is a crazy month. Wrapping up everything before the holidays. But thank you so much for taking time out of your evenings with you and your family as we continue to kind of be on this journey together about finding the perfect post-secondary fit for you. And that's really what tonight's all about. It's about you and getting all of your questions answered this evening. So my name is Carly. I am your host for the evening, and I am the National Online Recruitment Officer here at Carleton University. I'm also, as I like to think, a kind of recent grad from our international business program here at Carleton. But what that really means, that job title, is that me and my team of colleagues here, we're really here to help you tonight and answer any questions that you may have. I know that everyone might be at a little bit of a different part in their journey to post-secondary. Maybe you've applied already. Maybe, you've got your top three and you're waiting to press that button. That's what I was like. But wherever you are, we are here to help answer all of your questions tonight. Now, before we start off, I just want to start with how we start all of our presentations here at Carleton, and that's acknowledging where our community is lucky enough to call home. So Carleton University acknowledges that the location of its campus is on their traditional and unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. And this is really important to us because, we're very proud to be here at Carleton. We love our location. It's absolutely beautiful. But we also want to acknowledge the history and where we've came from, and also how that ties into the present. One of my favorite things that I like to mention is that we have a colleague named Macho, and he's the Algonquin Community Liaison. So, we're doing our best and we're doing really well, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a long ways to go. So it's important to just take a beat, take a moment, and acknowledge that this is where we are located. Now, there's a lot of exciting things coming up this evening. A lot of people here who are excited to share with you about the different services and answer all the questions that you might have. But before we do that, before we kick off the services section of our evening, we are super lucky to have Jen Sugar here with us, that other friendly face there in the corner, who is the Director of Admission Services here at Carleton. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Jen, and then we will follow that, go over the schedule for this evening, and we can't wait to chat further. So without further ado, Jen, I will pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Carly. I really appreciate it. And hello, everybody. I can see the number of people who have joined us tonight kind of ticking up a little bit every time I look into the corner here. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Carleton University's Family Night. So it's my pleasure to be with you tonight and to talk to you a little bit about the admissions process and a little bit about making that decision. And so the way I'm going to structure my my talk tonight is I'm going to talk a little bit about the admissions process, but I'm going to talk a lot more about making the decision and how you make that choice about which university to come to. And the reason why I'm only going to spend a little bit of time on the admission process itself is because after we're done here and after the presentations are done, myself and some of my colleagues will be out at the admissions tables, and we're happy to answer your individual questions about offers of admission or timing or the programs that you're thinking of applying to. And we're happy to deal with those questions individually. So, but from a broad perspective, I just want to let you know a couple of main points. So first of all, in terms of offers, I'm happy to let you know that one of our favorite times of year is right now because we get to start making offers of admission. And so we have started making some early offers of admission. But I just want to follow that by saying that please, if you do not have an offer of admission yet, don't panic, don't freak out. We make a very small number of offers of admission before we leave for the holiday break, and that's sort of what we're doing right now. And so the way we make offers of admission is we make what are called rolling offers of admission. And I know that probably the majority of the people who are listening tonight are probably in the Ontario high school system. And so what that means for you is that we get grades from the Ontario University's Application Centre, from your schools, at various times during the year. And every time we get grades, we recalculate admission averages, we check to see if people have prerequisites for the programs that they've applied to. And as soon as we can possibly make you an offer, we do. One thing to note, though, about all of those offers of admission and us making offers throughout the year is that we have some programs that have additional admission requirements. So a few extra things that are required besides just your grades. And so these are our programs that have portfolio requirements, or programs that have maybe an audition like our music program, or a supplementary application like our social work program. And so what you'll see is when you look at all of those programs and all of those requirements, you'll see that the vast majority of those are due in March. And so one thing to know about those sort of rolling offers of admission that I was describing, every time we get grades, we kind of calculate averages and make offers of admission. If you're applying to one of those programs that has an additional admission requirement, remember that because those are due in March, those decisions are only going to come after March. And so you'll only be looking at hearing about those programs in March or April, after each of the relevant schools have reviewed those portfolios and made the decisions about which applicants they want to accept to their program. So the best advice that I can give in terms of offers is just keep going, do your best, get as high grades as you can in your courses, and we will keep getting your grades. And like I said, as soon as we can make an offer of admission to you, we will. So in terms of what I want to cover tonight, though, is I want to cover the decision-making process, because everybody sort of is thinking about university right now. They're thinking about what programs they're interested in and what they want to apply to. And that is important. That's why we're holding this event tonight, so that you can ask some of those questions, so that you can get clarity on some of the things that make Carleton an amazing place to be. And so that's really important for you to do that right now, because now is that decision-making time. But the other thing that you need to think about is, how do you pick those programs? Like, if you apply to 3 different things, how do you make that choice? How do you pick what to apply to? And then how do you pick what to say yes to? And so I'm here tonight to tell you that I've been doing this a really long time. And every time I talk to students, most often they tell me about the advice that they receive. And I'm here to tell you that most oftentimes the advice that they get is wrong. Because normally what people people advise students is they say, go to university and do something that's going to get you a job. And so they look around at what's hot and what's cool right now, whether it's computer science or health science or engineering, and they say, do that, because that's really good and you're going to be able to get a job, and you want to be able to get a job when you graduate. And there are several problems with that advice. One is that what's hot right now might not be hot in 4 years. And what's hot right now might not be hot in 10 years. And so it's really hard to predict what might be a really hot field in the future. And, for those of you who are hockey fans, you know that Wayne Gretzky said, don't skate where the puck is, skate where the puck is going. The problem is it's a little bit hard to figure out completely where the puck is actually going. And so what do you do? What do you do with that? What you do with that is you focus on the things that you love, and you focus on the things that you enjoy. And that would be my main advice to any student who's thinking about university, is think about the things that you love. Think about the things that you enjoy. And the reason why I say this is because when you come to university, we're not just teaching you how to do a thing, one thing or 2 things. We're teaching you how to think. We're teaching you a set of transferable skills. We're teaching you really high-level reading skills, writing skills, critical thinking skills. We're teaching you how to deal with data. We're teaching you how to work in groups. We're teaching you how to work on your own. And when you come here and when you major in what you love, when you major in what you enjoy, no matter what that is, no matter what degree you finish with, you will graduate with 100% of those skills. And then that's how you market yourself in the future. Because when you have those skills, when you have all of those transferable skills, you can work in any field, you can work in any area, because then you are employable. And when you graduate, and you are talking to a potential employer, and an employer says to you, "What can you do for me?" That's the answer. That's what you say. You say, "I have these transferable skills." And that's why it's so critical. And one of the things that is really important for students to remember is how much work you'll be putting in on a weekly basis. And so sometimes students get a bit kind of confused when they look at the hours that they'll be spending in class. So I'll give you an example. The average student who is coming into our arts and social science program, if they register for 100% of a course load, 100%, they will have 5 classes. Typically, those are 3 hours a week. There sometimes are additional groups and tutorials and things like that. But in general, they'll be spending about 15 hours a week in class. And so sometimes students look at that and they think 15 hours a week, that's nothing. That's like nothing. That's a joke. That's so much less than I spend in high school right now. But what you need to remember is that at university, most of the learning that you do is actually outside of the classroom, and it's done on your own. And so you're expected to put in a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every hour you spend in class, you need to be spending 2 hours outside of class. And so that turns a 15-hour week into a 45-hour work week. And so now you're putting in more than a full-time job. And so if you think about this, so for all the students who are listening in, and for all the family members who are listening in right now, think about this. Think about if you've ever had a job, whether it's a full-time job or a part-time job, that you've absolutely hated, right? So think about that for a moment. Just kind of like soak that in. If you've ever had that experience, you know that when you get up to go to that job, you're not like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm so excited to go to work. That's how it's going to feel if you major in something that you don't like. And it's going to be really hard to put in that 45 hours of work. And if you're in science, it's going to be closer to 60 because you have to add in labs. And if you're in engineering, it's going to be even a little bit more. And so now you've signed yourself up for something that you can't get yourself motivated for. Well, if that's the case, then how are you going to get all of those amazing transferable skills? How are you going to get good grades? How are you going to be able to walk away knowing that you have all this knowledge in a particular area, whether you major in film studies or biology or industrial design, but you also have all of these amazing transferable skills that will allow you to compete in any job market and in any industry, regardless of what happens to be hot now, 4 years from now, 10 years from now. That's what a university degree does. A university degree future proofs you, because the reality is that the future is unknown and it's uncertain, and none of us can predict what's going to happen. And we know this because we're living in the middle of a global pandemic. No one predicted that this was going to happen. And so what we are going to be doing when you come to Carleton is we are going to be equipping you to be able to be someone who can really compete and someone who can really excel in that future job market when you graduate. And so, I just want to sort of say and remind everyone that, these last 21 months have been very difficult. And, I mean, to put it mildly, let's just say the last 20 months have been no fun. And we're kind of coming out of it. We're coming out of it, and we're looking forward to fall of 2022. And we're looking forward to being back in person and back full time and all of these types of things. And it's amazing, but in order for us to transition out of this kind of dark time and also transition through a future that is really uncertain, we need all of you who are potential students, to come to us with your hope, with your optimism, with your creativity, with your intelligence, and to graduate and help us navigate all of these challenging times. And that's what we want to do. We want to bring you into the university. We want to equip you to do that. But what we're doing here is, we're inviting you to be part of something that is much bigger than what you can be on your own. Because what we want to do is we want to bring you in and then graduate you and put you out into the world as one of the many Carleton grads who are taking what they've learned and taking the skills that they have and translating that into being able to make the world better, no matter what field they work in, no matter what area that they work in. And so, as you do your research and as you try to think about what you're interested in and what you want to take on, I wish you all the luck in the world in terms of navigating that and making those decisions. And make them carefully. Ask your questions tonight because that's really important. But when you come here, think about what you want to bring. Think about what you want to bring to Carleton and how not only you want to learn and grow, but how you want to change Carleton, how you want to change this place, and what kind of mark you want to leave on the university when you're here. Because that's really what you're looking at is it's an exchange of information. We want to work with you to give you some of these skills and to teach you some of these things, but we're also looking for your energy, your creativity, and your optimism. And together we know that we're going to be able to create something much better than we could on our own. So good luck. Good luck with your decision. Good luck with making all of your choices. I wish you all the best. Know that as we go through the admission process, it can sometimes seem a bit confusing. Sometimes you don't get all of the information that you think you need. Always make sure that you're reaching out and that you're asking us the questions as you go through. If there's something that is happening that you're thinking, oh, that doesn't sound right, just reach out. We're happy to help. We're happy to walk you through the process, and we're happy to make this as easy as possible. So thank you very much for attending tonight. Looking forward to answering your questions, and welcome to Carleton.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen, as always. And you can speak with Jen and her amazing admissions colleagues over in the admissions booth. And that kind of brings me to my schedule. We have a lot of really amazing things in store for the rest of the evening. In the office, we've been joking that tonight would be called Future Raven Family Fun Night. It had a nice ring to it. And honestly, I really hope that you folks do have fun with what we have on tap for the rest of the evening. So I'll give us a quick rundown before we have to jump into our next sessions. Between the hours of 6 and 7, you're going to have the opportunity to tune into 3 different sessions. Session 1, we're offering a session on accessibility with the Paul Menten Center for students with visible and non-visible disabilities. So if you're a student that has an IEP in high school or have a learning disability, a physical disability, anything that might that you might have questions about in terms of, how will this look at university? Definitely head over to the accessibility session, and you can find them both at 6 p.m. and at 6:40. Next, we have employability in your degree. So Jen was talking a lot about skills, and you can meet with our cooperative education office, and they're going to chat a little bit about, finding those skills, what's important, what are employers looking for, and how to be really employable with your degree. So check that one out at 6 o'clock and as well as at 6:20. So 2 options for that one. Next, we have student life. It's a really big part of being a student, what your day-to-day life is going to look like, how you can get involved, what that looks like from day 1 at Carleton all the way to the end of your degree. How can you, contribute to our community, and how can our community support you as a student? So check out student life session 1 and 2. And if you're interested at all about inclusivity on campus and how Carleton is a really, inclusive, diverse, and welcoming community, you'll want to check out that session at 6:40. All throughout the evening from 6 to 7:30, you'll also notice that there are booths, so student services booths, where you can meet with our student services staff, as well as current students and recent grads if you have any questions about, what is it like to be a student at Carleton, or how can these services specifically help you? So as you can see, our timeline timeline for this evening is quite tight. We have back-to-back sessions. You can kind of create your own experience for the rest of the evening. But I do recommend that you go to the booths, ask your questions in the booths, retain all that information during the sessions, and then go talk to our amazing community that we have here this evening. So with that, we would like to say again a huge thank you and to enjoy the rest of your evening with us at the Future Even Family Night. That is the end of the keynote. You can now take this time to kind of explore the platform a little bit. Under the sessions tab, that's where you're going to see all of the different sessions that you can join. So maybe you'll want to mark down what sessions you're going to be hopping into. And then you can also explore our student services booths, and you'll see some of our reps are already in there ready to chat away. So enjoy the rest of your evening. A big thank you again to Jen for joining us. And we can't wait to keep this conversation going throughout the night. So go get your questions answered, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.